The impact of asbestos cement water pipes is quite extraordinary. Here in the UK, it's estimated there are close to 37,000 kilometers of asbestos cement water pipe. There are hundreds of thousands of kilometers across Europe. We've heard from Australia this morning. There are 40,000 kilometers of asbestos cement water pipe in Australia. They have the asbestos eradication group working on that. In New Zealand, there are 9,000 kilometers of asbestos cement water pipe, and I'll talk more about New Zealand in a moment. They are throughout Asia. They are throughout the Middle East. And when we come to the United States of America, there are an estimated 600,000 miles of asbestos cement water pipe. Now, why is a Canadian here talking to you about asbestos? Well, sadly, we have a long and complex history with asbestos in Canada. And you'll see here from this title, the study with the very long title from 1977, when we were still producing and using a great deal of asbestos, that chrysotile made up 95% of world production. Canada produced 40% of the world's chrysotile asbestos for decades, 95% of which was exported, and it came from Quebec mainly, 80% from Quebec. And remember that Quebec has one of the lowest levels of asbestos cement water pipe in Canada. Most of it is in Western Canada for some reason. But most disturbing of that study, in 1977, it pointed to a lack of regulation of asbestos, and that hasn't changed to this day. But the story of asbestos in water, the genesis is the United States of America. That's where this really got going. In the late 60s, something was wrong with Lake Superior in Canada and the United States. We share those Great Lakes. Lake Superior is the largest of those lakes. And the water in Duluth, Minnesota had a problem. And the fledgling Environmental Protection Agency was called in to have a look. And they sampled the water, and they found 644 million fibers in 1 liter of water in Lake Superior. And that prompted some pretty serious questions, because it was the Reserve Mining Company which had been dumping iron ore tailings into Lake Superior for decades. The EPA and the federal government took Reserve Mining Company to court. The case lasted approximately 2 years, and at the end of it, the Reserve Mining Company was ordered to stop dumping its tailings into Lake Superior, and that's where the EPA really got involved. But before the EPA even got involved, environmental groups took notice. And this is one of the largest groups, the Center for Science in the Public Interest, and it called for the prohibition of asbestos cement water pipes, and that was in 1973. And they raised a number of serious concerns, and I'll just zoom in on some of those. The first thing they called for was a prohibition of AC pipes in water supply systems. And you can see there in that second highlighted version that the contamination of drinking water from erosion and maintenance may present a major hazard to the general public, and that was in 1973. I know everybody in this room will be familiar with Dr. Irving Selikoff. You can see there that Dr. Selikoff and his colleague, Dr. Wagner, testified at that trial in 1973, and they said that there is ample reason to believe that the ingestion of major varieties of asbestos leads to an increased risk of gastrointestinal cancer. And they said that in 1973.